Welcome to the first Yamuna streamed pelvic floor class. And people have been wanting me to teach this for a long time. And so I've taught different parts of this. And now we're going to put it all together now. So I want you to first look at the pelvis, the structure of the pelvis, and understand that you've got two bones, one pelvic bone and the other pelvic bone. And they attach at your pubic symphysis, or at your pubic bone, and they attach alongside the sacrum. That's what you commonly hear of sacroiliac joints, okay? And then you've got the sit bones, the two bones where you sit. And then there's this area that goes from your pubic bone. If you feel it yourself and you walk your fingers back, there's a bone there, and it goes to your sit bone. So these are areas of the pelvic, the entire pelvis that we're going to be working, so that I want you to really be able to feel comfortable finding them. So here you have your pelvis. So of course a man's pelvis is narrower. It's a different in as far as its shape. This is much wider. But in the pelvic floor, inside, you've got organs. And it's important to understand, just to get a sense of them, that the bladder sits right against the pubic bone. And so that means there can be a lot of pressure placed down on that bladder. So that's one. So then you've got ovaries and uterus in there. And then you've got the ascending and descending colon. Okay, so there's a lot of organs that sit in the pelvic floor area. Then you've got the small and large intestines that are all in here. And with life and gravity, everything begins to drop down. Then if you've had some kids and you've pushed everything down, that's that much more pressure down into the pelvic floor. Okay? So that means that all of this that's below has to hold this up. Okay? So, as always, I believe that you have to start with the bone, because the bone takes the most impact. And as we get older, the bones, the two sides of the pelvis, begin to narrow in. The pubic bone narrows in. At the sacroiliac joint, it narrows in. The sit bones narrow in, which cause the leg, the thigh bones, to narrow in. So before we can even access the muscles in the pelvic floor, we've got to get as much expansiveness in the pelvis as possible. Okay, so that's where we're going to start. Okay, and that's nice, easy body rolling. Okay, we're gonna start with, I'm gonna put the pelvis on its side now, and we're gonna start with stimulating the sacrum. So it's gonna look like this. You're gonna feel for your tailbone and take that ball up to the lowest part of what's your sacrum, the pear-shaped bone. And we're going to slowly start to roll that ball out, spreading it out, spreading it out. And you're going to roll back in. You're going to roll up halfway, and you're going to spread out to the same side, spread out, spread out, spread out, and come back to the center, go up to the very top of your sacrum. And you're going to do the same thing, spreading out to the same side, trying to get as much width out to that side. Okay, and then we'll do the same thing on the second side. So, here we go. You're going to lie on your back and take that ball and put it just at your lower sacrum. And you're just going to come on. And I don't want you to fall off to one side or the other. So I use both hands underneath me to keep my hips even. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And move your body to the left a little bit. Let that ball spread. Use your hands to spread that ball out to the right. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Move your body over to the left a little bit and let that ball spread out to the right. Inhale. And exhale. Don't let yourself fall off to one side or the other. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Let that ball pull out a little bit more to the right. Inhale. And exhale. It should only feel good. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And bend your feet into the floor, knees up, and just pick up the hips and move the ball halfway up your sacrum in the center. And we're going to go to the same side. Don't go off to the other side yet. And pull that ball out a little bit. So you can keep, if it's more comfortable for you to have your knees bent, you can also keep your knees bent. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And pull the ball out to the right as you shift your body to the left. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And keep pulling your body out to the, let that ball pull out to the right as you shift your body to the left. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Keep pulling that ball to the right. Breathing. Feeling that side of your sacrum widening. And pick your hips up and move that ball up to the very top of your sacrum so it's just before your lumbar spine. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Pull that ball to the right. Your body shifts to the left. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Pull the ball to the right. Let your hips shift to the left. Inhale. And exhale. Don't fall off to one side or the other. Inhale. Keep your hips even. Exhale. Pull the ball out to the right more. Inhale. And exhale. And pull that ball out even a little bit more to the right. Stay there. Breathe. Feel that whole side of your sacrum widening. And take the ball out. extend your legs out. Feel that side of your sacrum on the floor. Feel that whole hip feeling wider, the leg relaxing wider out on the floor. Feel how you already have more space in the pelvis on that side. And now walk your feet back into the floor and pick up your sacrum. And now let's take that ball to the lower part of your sacrum in the center. And now we're going to do the second side. So inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Move the ball out to the left a little bit. Let your body shift a little to the right. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Pull the ball out to the left as your body shifts to the right. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. And move your body to the right. Let that ball shift out to the left. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. And move the ball out one more time, spreading it to the left. Inhale and exhale. And pick up the hip and move the ball halfway up your sacrum. And in the center, inhale and exhale. And now shift your body to the right as you spread that ball out to the left. Inhale and exhale and inhale. Big breaths to where the ball is and exhale. And shift your body to the right and let that ball spread out to the left. Inhale and exhale. And inhale and exhale. And keep spreading that ball out to the left. Don't let your hip fall to one side or the other. Keep them equal. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Keep spreading that ball out to the left. Inhale and exhale. And pick up the hips and move that ball with your hands up to the top of your sacrum. And bring your weight back down on the ball. And shift your body to the right and pull that ball out to the left with your hands. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. Pull that ball out to the left. Inhale and exhale and inhale. Big breath to where the ball is and exhale. Shift your body to the right. Pull the ball to the left with your hands. Inhale and exhale and inhale and exhale. One more time. Widen that ball out to the left. Inhale and exhale And inhale. And exhale. And pick your hips up and take the ball out. Extend your legs out on the floor. Take 2 or 3 breaths. And just feel how your legs are wider and more relaxed on the floor. Your pelvis, your hips feel wider, more expansive, more relaxed. And then inhale, bend your knees up into your chest, and just hold them there for a moment. And roll over onto a side. And slowly sit up. So, get up and stand for a moment so that you can feel what that work just did. Feel how your whole sacrum feels different now, wider, more relaxed when you're standing. And now we're going to do more parts of the bone. So what I want you to do is feel, so right in front, I want you to feel where the corner of the pelvic bone is. And you're going to put the ball right there. And then we're going to slowly work that ball all the way along the top. So if you do it with your hand, you can feel the ball is at the very top of the pelvis. And you're going to roll that ball all the way in towards your sacrum. And then you're going to take that ball and you're going to take it backwards along the top of the pelvis, all the way back to the starting point. And then we're going to do the same thing on the second side. So come face down. Get your body weight right down on that ball. So you're right at the front of the pelvic bone. Just get your body weight there. Breathe. Take time to stimulate the bone. And then you're going to let that ball go backwards just a little bit. So you're just using your body weight here. And you're going to let that ball go backwards just a little bit more. So you're feeling that ball right at the top of the pelvis. Stay there. Breathe. Stimulate the bone. And roll the ball backward a little bit more. You're right at the top of your pelvic bone. Stay there. Breathe. And let that ball roll backwards a little bit more. You can feel for your sacrum. You can feel for the edge of the top edge of the bone there. And let that ball roll backward a little bit more. And let it roll backwards a little bit more. And let it roll backward a little bit more, so that you can feel that you roll right to the edge of the pelvic bone. And stay there. And now you're going to roll back to the starting point. So you're going to start to roll that ball backwards. So each point, stay there. Roll a little bit more forward. Stay there. Roll the ball a little bit more forward. Stay there. So you're not racing through this. You're stimulating the bone. Roll the ball a little bit more forward. So you're taking time to stimulate the bone. And roll the ball a little bit more forward. And bring it right back to the starting point. Stay there. Take a couple breaths. and come off the ball. And again, lie on your back, feel that work, see what that added to the work that you did on your sacrum first. It's really important that you get a sense of what each thing does, how it feels in your body before you add the next piece. Okay, so now we're going to do the second side. So you're going to come down, feel for that corner of the pelvic bone, and bring that ball down so that you come right down on the ball, right at that front corner of your pelvis. Stay there, breathe. And let that ball go backwards a little bit more. And just stay here. Stimulate the bone. And let the ball go backward a little bit more. And let the ball go backward a little bit more. Feel the difference between the two sides. We impact each side so differently. We weight bear into it. We use it so differently. It's really important to feel these differences. And let the ball go backward a little bit more. Really make sure it's at the very top of the pelvis. And let the ball go backward a little bit more. And let the ball go backward a little bit more. And let the ball go all the way back, right at the top. Stay there. And now you're going to pull that ball forward and begin to roll backwards the same way you came. Just stay there and breathe. And roll the ball out a little bit more. Breathing. Using your body weight against the ball, roll that ball a little more forward. Breathing. And roll the ball a little more forward so you're right at the top of your pelvic bone. And roll a little bit more on your side. And a little bit more forward. And a little bit more forward so that you're coming right back to that starting point. Stay there. Stimulate that point. And come off the ball. And lie on your back for a moment. And just let the two sides of your body adjust, feel the work, how it affects you when both sides are done. It's your whole pelvis starting to open up, expand, be more relaxed. Okay, so bend your knees up into your chest and hold them there for a moment. And then slowly roll over onto a side and sit up. And then take a moment to stand so you can feel the work. So when you're standing with your weight on your feet, what does it feel like so far in your pelvis? Your connection of your pelvis to your feet. Now the next piece we're going to do is your pubic bone. So we've widened out the sacrum, and now we're widening out the pubic bone. So we're going to start with the ball centered on the pubic bone, and then the ball is going to slowly roll out to one side. As it gets to the edge of the pubic bone, you're going to turn your foot out. So you're going to keep spreading and widening out, but staying on the bone. And then the next piece, so you're going to bend over a little bit. So when you're standing here, bend over and see if you can get your thumb right at the top of your pubic bone. And feel how you can move your thumb along the top edge of your pubic bone. So that's what you're going to do with the ball. The ball's going to replace your thumb, and it's going to roll along the top edge of your pubic bone. And then we're going to do the lower part. So if you take your fingers to just to the lower part of your pubic bone, okay, so you'll feel, so for a man you'll feel your shaft starting, the woman will start to feel her clitoris right there, the hood of her clitoris right there. So that's where you're going to go, and you're going to lift up from. So if you put your fingers there and lift up, you'll feel your genitals lifting upward. Okay, so then you're going to put that ball in and then move it up and out. So as you bring that ball out, you're going to keep lifting up and out. Okay, so you're going to work into the inner thigh a little bit. Okay, so here we go. Let's do all three lines on one side. So come down. Just let that ball be in the center of your pubic bone. You're just going to let some weight come down here. Take some breaths. And let the ball move out to the right. Stay there. Breathe. Let the ball widen out to the right. Stay there. You just want to keep thinking widening, widening, widening. Move that ball out a little bit more to the right. You can turn that leg out a little bit. Just take some big breaths. And just let that ball slide out a little bit wider. Stay here. Breathe. Roll that ball out a little bit wider. Stay there. Let that ball widen out a little bit more. take the ball out and bring it back to the center. And this time you're going to have that ball right at the top edge. Okay, so you're going to be pushing down at the top, down into the top of the pubic bone, down into the top of the pubic bone. So lie down. And once your body weight's down, so put the ball in your hands so you have more control of it. And let your body weight come down, and now immediately put that ball pushing at the top of your pubic bone. So just stay here. Use your body weight coming down into the ball to help you push that ball down against the top of your pubic bone. We're going to go to the same sides. Don't go from don't change sides in the middle here. So stay here and breathe. And move the ball out a little bit. And breathe. Use your hands to push that ball down into the top of the pubic bone. And move the ball out a little bit more. Push that ball against the top of the pubic bone. And turn the leg out and take that ball as far out as you can at the top edge of the pubic bone. Stay there with the leg turned out. Press down at the top edge. And now take the ball out and bring it back to the center, but this time you're bringing it to the lower part. So you're going to hold it there and lift up. So come down, have the ball at the lower edge of your pubic bone. Bring your body weight down and then use your hands to pull up. And just hold that. And move the ball out a little bit. So again, keep it on the lower edge of your pubic bone and pull up. And take the ball out a little bit more so it's going in more towards your inner thigh. You're going to be at the bottom edge of your pubic bone, lifting up and out to the right. So turn that leg out a little bit and help you to really spread out and up to the right. Keep pulling that ball up and out. Hold it there. And take the ball out. Lie on your back. Feel that side. That's really important work. It helps to stimulate the bladder, it helps to lift the bladder. It helps with incontinence. It's really an important concept, the idea of stimulating your pubic bone. Just see what it did on that side of your body, and then we'll start the other side. Now it's very common that one side of the pubic bone will be more sensitive than the other, and it will usually radiate and refer to your lower back. Okay, so if we get to one side and it's very painful, and that happens to be the side of your lower back, you just know that that's the connection straight through. Okay, so very often when people do the pubic bone, they get a lot of heat. That's also common. You're bringing increased blood flow into the area. So don't get nervous about that if all of a sudden you feel that you're having a hot flash or an electric shock, because that too will go away. There's nothing wrong or bad about that. Okay, so let's put the ball back in the center. So we're going to do the center line first. So you're going to bring your body weight down. Now you're going to move your body over to the right and let that ball move to the left. Inhale. And exhale, let your body weight come down into the ball. Move your body to the right, let that ball spread to the left. Inhale. And exhale, let your body weight come down. And move your body to the right, let that ball spread to the left. Big breaths. And move that ball out a little bit more to the left. Turn that leg out. Let that ball stay there, spreading, widening the pubic bone to the left. Stay there. Breathe. Keep letting that ball spread out to the left. Breathe to where that ball is. And take the ball out. And now we're going to work from the top of the pubic bone. So you're going to take that ball and push down, push down, push down. So lie face down. Pick up your hips. Take that ball so to the center. And use your fingers. I've got the ball in my hand. So now as I bring my body weight down, I'm pushing that ball, pushing against the top. The ball's pushing the top of the pubic bone down. Stay there. Take a few breaths. And move the ball out to the left a little bit. Keep pushing that ball down against the top of the pubic bone. Move that ball out a little bit more to the left. Turn the leg out a little bit. Turn it out to the left. Keep your body weight on the left side. Push down at the top of that pubic bone. move that ball out a little bit more, pushing down at the top of the pubic bone. Stay here. Breathe. And take the ball out. And now we're going to do it from underneath. So take that ball underneath. So it's right at the lowest edge. And we're going to take your hands, hold on to the ball, get it on the lower edge and lift up. And bring your weight there. And stay there. And move that ball out to the left. From the underneath edge, lift up. And move the ball out a little bit more. Turn that leg out. Lift that ball up and out to the left so that you're more in the inner thigh now, widening out. Stay there. Keep using that ball to lift up and out to the left. Maintain the pressure on the ball. Pushing up and out to the left. Stay here. Breathe. And come off the ball. And lie on your back. And let those two sides settle in. To really feel that work. And now bend your knees up into your chest and hold them for a moment. And slowly roll over onto a side and slowly sit up. And now we're going to just do 2 more bone points. So I want you to feel for your sit bone. And you're going to take that and you're going to sit on the ball. And you're going to stimulate the bone from the straight down, a little bit from the outside, and a little bit from the inside. So as you sit down, put your ball right up, put your sit bone right up on the ball. And just stay there and let your body weight go into the ball. Take 2 or 3 breaths. And then let the ball go out a little bit to one side and just stay there and lean. And let the ball go to the inside of the sit bone. Stay there. Stimulate the inside edge of your sit bone. back to the center. So it's the direct impact into the bone, which is what we're looking for here. And take the ball out. And do the same thing on the second side. So put that second sit bone straight up. Second sit bone straight up on the ball. And just let your body weight go directly in. And you're just waiting, using your body weight against the ball. And let the ball go to the outer side a little bit and stimulate from that angle. And then stimulate on the inside edge. Change the angle. And come off the ball. Okay, so now we're gonna work on the pelvic floor muscles. So I'm not sure how much time we're gonna have to get through each one, but we're gonna try. So what I want you to do is you're gonna need a chair, and you're gonna need to first take a tour of your body. So what I want you to do is, if you feel for your pubic bone and you trace backwards along the bone, I want you to spread out. So take your hand and spread out. So it's on the inside edge of that bone that these muscles are and where you're going to be working. So as your foot is up and you're tracing backwards, I want you to trace all the way backwards to your tailbone. Okay? So if you're starting in the front at your pubic bone and you're walking your fingers backwards to your coccyx. Okay? So that's where our first muscle that we're going to do is. Okay, so now, as far as your genitals go, you're going to push them off, you're going to pull them in, away, so that you can get that ball in between that bone and your genitals along one whole side and along the other side. So I want you to use your hands and begin to separate everything out so that there's clear line of space on the inside of that bone. That's where we're going to be working. Now the first muscle is called your pubococcygis, and it starts on, we don't have that as we don't have that one. Okay, so there's a group of muscles called your levator ani, okay, and there's 3 muscles. And the first one is pubococcygis, which we don't have an image for, but we have an image for the other 2. So you're going to start with that ball at your pubic bone, and that ball is going to roll backwards on the inside edge of that bone, and it's going to roll all the way back to the side of your coccyx. Okay, so that muscle, there's one muscle, starts on the front of the pubic bone and the other on the other. Okay, so there's 2. So sit in a chair. So this is great that you could just sit in a chair and work your pelvic floor muscles. So Place the ball in the front of your pubic bone, slightly off to the right. Let's all do the right. And just lean forward. Just hold that ball there and lean forward so you're literally putting your body weight on the ball. And just stay there and breathe. So you're stimulating where the muscle begins. And then move that ball backwards a little bit. Just let your body weight press in there. You can spread everything out here. And let that ball go backwards a little bit more. And move your body a little forward as that ball starts to go backwards, so it's on the inside edge of that bone. So let your body weight sink in there. It shouldn't be painful. If it is, you can just use some of your body weight with your hands. Move that ball backwards a little bit more. Now, let that ball, move that ball backwards. I want you with your hand, feel for your tailbone. And you're going to let that ball go in to the right side of your tailbone. And just hold it there with your hands. So you're just holding that ball with your hand, spreading out that right side of your coccyx. So if you lean back a little bit, you get more weight there. And roll that ball up a little bit more on your coccyx. Stay there. Breathe. And then let that ball come out. And just stand for a moment and feel what that did on that right side. Where did it affect you? You feel how you're standing more solid. That side of the pelvic floor feels a little wider. And let's do the same thing on the second side. So feel for the front of your pubic bone. Lean forward so you get some weight right there on the ball. You can just stay here. And move that ball backwards. So feel for the bone, spread everything out. Let that ball be on the inside of the bone. Stay there. Breathe. And move the ball a little backwards. You can move with your hand, or you can just move your body a little forward. Stay there. Breathe. And move the ball a little bit further backwards. Stay there. Breathe. Feel for the tailbone now. And now let that ball roll to the side of the tailbone. Lean back a little bit so you get more body weight into that side of your tailbone. Stay there. Breathe. Roll the ball up that side of the tailbone a little bit. And come off the ball. And stand and feel that. So now we're going to do the iliococcygeus. So here's just so that you see the difference between the male and female pelvis. But I want you to, so these muscles start at your sit bones. So that means that the ball starts at your sit bone And it's going to go, so from there, from your sit bone, it's going to go to the side of your tailbone. So as you do that, I want you to lift your gluteus maximus up and out of the way. So the ball's going to go from that sit bone. You're going to hold the gluteus muscles up and out of the way, and that ball is going to roll in alongside your coccyx. We'll do that on both sides. So, right side first. Take the ball to that right sit bone. So have that right sit bone just sitting on the ball. Stimulate it. Now what you're going to do is you're going to hold that gluteus maximus out of the way, and you're going to slide a little forward and let that ball roll up. Just with one hand try to lift your gluteus muscle and keep moving your body weight forward and let that ball roll backwards. And now move your body weight forward and let that ball roll backwards so it's just into the lower coccyx on the side. Slide your hip a little forward, let that ball roll up a little bit more. Lean back. And stand. And just feel that side. What did that add to this side? So you have two levator ani muscles woken up on this side. Do you feel wider, more open, standing stronger on that leg? And let's do the same thing on the other side. So start by sitting on the ball. Lift your gluteus maximus up and out of the way. So use your hand to keep that lifted the whole time. Feel, you can use your other hand to feel where your tailbone is. Move your body a little forward and let that ball roll, angling in towards the tailbone. And just lean back there. Breathe. Lean back. And move your body a little more forward. Keep lifting the gluteus muscle. Hold on to your tailbone so you can feel when you're getting there. And now let that ball roll in to the side of the tailbone. And lean back. Stay there. And breathe. And roll the ball up that side of the coccyx a little bit more. Stay there. Breathe. And come off the ball. Stand. Feel the two sides together. Feel the difference in how you're standing. Feel your whole pelvis foundationally stronger. And now let's do puborectalis. So puborectalis starts at your pubic bone. And it rolls through the same line, but I want you to put your finger, so you're going to put your finger where your rectum is, and that ball's going to, let's see if I do it this way. So if I have my finger where my rectum is, and my finger where my pubic bone is, so that ball is literally rolling backwards to just behind your rectum, centered. So that's where we're going. And then we're going to do the other side because the two muscles attach behind the rectum. So, you're going to start again with the ball and the pubic bone in the front, and you're just going to lean forward. Just going to lie here. Let your body weight just come down into the ball. Stay here. Breathe. And let the ball go backwards a little bit. You can, again, I want the inside, the inner edge of that bone, and just stay there. Let your body weight stay there. And move your hips forward a little bit. And let that ball go backward a little bit. Stay here. Breathe. And move your hips a little more forward. So put your finger in your rectum now, right there. So now you're going to use that as your guide to let that ball start going backward. So keep your body weight there. Keep your finger there. Let your body weight go down into the ball. You can move the ball backward a little bit more. So it's on the side of the rectum. And now let that ball move behind the back side of the rectum. So when you're there, pick up your tailbone and pull the tailbone backward and let that ball just stay there. So that's where that side of the muscle ends. And now stand, feel that. See if you can feel a difference from that. See if you can feel what it is. And now let's do the same thing on the other side. So your pubic bone, front of the pubic bone comes down onto the ball. Stay here. Breathe. Let your body weight stay here. And let the ball go backwards a little bit. Let your body weight stay here. Penetrate into the ball. Move the ball backward a little bit more. Make sure you're on the inside edge of the bone. Spread everything out. Feel, put your finger in your rectum. Let that ball roll a little backward. So you're just using your finger as a guide point. So as your hips move forward, let that ball move backward so it's alongside the rectum. And move the ball a little bit further backward. And now move the ball so it's just behind the rectum and you're attaching these two muscles behind where they attach behind the rectum. Pull your tailbone backward and just stay there and breathe. And wake up these two muscles. Stay here. Take 2 or 3 breaths. Keep pulling your tailbone backwards. And then stand. And see what that feels like with your weight on both feet. Feel how your whole pelvis is getting more solid. The pelvic floor feels more solid. You're more solid in your feet. And then let's do the transverse perineal muscles. Okay, so again, what I want you to do is I want you to feel where your sit bone is. So, and I want you to feel where your rectum is. And I want you to feel, so for men it would be your testicles. For women it would be your vagina. So just between your rectum and your vagina or your testicles is what an area called your perineum. So I want you to take one hand on your sit bone, and I want you to feel in the center there, that's called your perineum. So these next muscles attach from your sit bones into the perineal area. So what's important about that, understanding that, is that you've got a lot of elasticity right in the perineal area that comes through these muscles. So after we do this, I'm going to have you stay here and breathe so that you can really feel how expansive, how deep these muscles can actually take you in and up. So you're going to be able to let that ball go very deep inside you, and you're going to feel much more solid once you stand. So take the ball, have your right sit bone up on the ball, and just stay there with your body weight on your sit bone. And now let the ball slide to the inner side of your right sit bone. Now let that ball, so spread that right knee out to the right and let that ball go more in towards the center. And when it's in towards the center, just keep spreading that right knee out. Stay there. Take 2 or 3 breaths. Let that ball just sink in. And take the ball out. And stand and feel that. What did that do? What did that add to this side? And then let's do the second side. So first sit on the ball. Get your body weight on the side. Lean out to the side. Stay here. Breathe. And now slide this left knee out to the left and let that ball slide in more towards the inner side of that sit bone. And just stay there. And breathe. Stay here. And breathe. Stay here and breathe. And slide that knee, left knee out to the left a little bit more. Keep your body weight here, stay here. Breathe. Keep your body weight on the side. Slide that knee out more and let that ball go more towards the center. Stay with your weight on the left side. Take a couple breaths. Keep your body weight on that left side. Breathe to where the ball is. And now move the ball to the center. So between the two sit bones, in this area is called your perineum. So that means the ball's in front of your rectum and behind your vagina, behind your testicles. So I want you to keep your legs spread, and I want you to inhale, and I want you to try to breathe and lift up from the ball. And exhale, and let your body weight come back down. And inhale, and breathe and lift up. And exhale again, let your body weight come back down into the ball. And inhale. Breathe length up through your body. And exhale and empty. Let your body weight come down. And inhale. Breathe and lift and lengthen up. And lean to the left. And lean to the right. And lean to the left. And press into the ball. And lean to the right. And press into the ball. And back to the center. Inhale. And lift up more. And exhale. And then stand and see what that did. See what that, working the transversus perineal muscles do for your whole torso, for your posture, for your pelvic floor. See what changes you're feeling in your pelvic floor and where else is it affecting you. Okay. So the next two muscles we're going to look at are called your ischiocavernosus and your bulbocavernosus. So here you go. So let's go to the bulbocavernosus first. Okay, so this goes from your perineum, and it goes out to, so for women, what I want you to do is I want you to feel, grab a hold of the hood of your clitoris. That's the insertion, that's where it ends. So you've got to hold on. You've got to feel for the tip of your clitoris and the hood, and as you work from your perineum, we're going to do one side. So feel for your fingers where your perineum is. So if you put your fingers back where your perineum is, so this is my rectum, just in front of my perineum. And if you do that, if you put your fingers there, and then you pull on your clitoris. So same thing as if a man takes his penis and pulls it upward, you'll feel a connection. So That's where the muscles begin and they end at your clitoris. So this is an important one to feel. So don't be afraid to touch yourself. You've got to be able to keep pulling the hood of your clitoris up. So here we go. So you're going to take the ball. So let's do the right side. So that ball is going to be in your perineal area. So you're going to lean forward. So you need to, it might be easier for you if you just put your hands in your pants and you just hold the hood of your clitoris and start to lean forward. Stay there. Breathe. Lean forward. Keep pulling your clitoris, the hood of your clitoris forward. Lean forward. Let the ball roll a little bit more forward. Stay here. Breathe. Move your hips back and let the ball roll forward. Keep pulling the clitoris forward and let the ball roll forward onto the clitoris. Keep moving your hips back and let the ball roll out to the hood, the tip of your clitoris. So in the penis, it'll go up the shaft about a third of the way. So just keep holding the penis, pulling it forward, and letting that ball go up about a third of the way on the shaft. Lean forward, keep moving your hips backwards, and stand and feel that. Feel what that did on that side. See how that just improved your posture? So the muscles that go to your clitoris, the muscles that go a third of the way up your penis, lift your whole body up. Okay, so wouldn't you want those working? So let's do the other side. Who knew that you could have better posture from one muscle? So let's get that ball back into the perineum. So again, if you don't know what your perineum is, feel with your finger to your rectum and slide that ball just in front. Now take your fingers to the other side. So you're going to reach in, grab your clitoris, the hood of your clitoris, and start to pull it forward. And just lean forward. Stay here. Move your hips backwards, let the ball go a little forward. Stay here. Breathe. Keep pulling the clitoris forward, pulling the penis forward. Gently. You don't have to pull hard here because as the ball comes forward, the muscle will start to stretch, will start to give. So then you can increase more pull on the clitoris, more pull on the penis. Stay here. Breathe. Move your hips back, let the ball go a little more forward. Move your hips backwards and let the ball roll a little more forward. Let the ball roll to the tip of your clitoris. Keep pulling the shaft forward. Stay here. If you're holding your penis gently, keep pulling it up Stay here gently. Let the muscle release. And come off the ball. And stand and feel that. Feel how your whole body just lifted. So it's a really important idea that, again, the muscles in your pelvic floor give you your posture. Okay, and now we're going to do the ischiocavernosus. Okay, so this goes, so again, this muscle goes from your sit bone to the hood and tip of your clitoris. So from your sit bone out to the tip of your clitoris, out to the hood of the clitoris. If you're working, if you're a man doing this, you're gently pulling. That ball is going from that sit bone out about a third of the way up the shaft of your penis. So take the ball to the right sit bone. So first sit up on the ball. Get your body weight in your sit bone. Slide that ball off the sit bone. Now you're going to again hold on to the shaft of your penis, hold on to the clitoris and the hood, pulling it forward, and start to lean forward. And let that ball roll from that sit bone. Stay there, nice and easy. Breathe. And move your hips backward a little bit. Let that ball start to roll up the right side. Stay here. Breathe. Keep your body weight here. Stay here. Breathe. Move the ball a little bit more forward. Inhale. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. Move the ball a little more forward. Stay here. Keep pulling the hood of the clitoris and the clitoris forward. Keep pulling the shaft of the penis forward. Stay here. Breathe. Move your hips backward and let that ball go right out to the very tip of your clitoris. Keep pulling it forward with your hand, letting the ball slide towards your fingers. Let that ball keep sliding out towards your fingers. Stay here. Breathe. And come off the ball. And feel what that muscle added. Still improves your posture, widens your hips. And let's do the other side. So, sit on the ball. So you're stimulating that sit bone. You're sliding that ball off the sit bone and reach in and pull on your clitoris, the hood of your clitoris. Lean forward. Breathe. Take some big breaths here. Slide your hips backward a little bit. Keep pulling forward on the clitoris, on the hood of the clitoris, on the penile shaft. Keep breathing. Move your hips backwards, let the ball roll forward. Take some big breaths. Move your hips backwards, let the ball move forward a little bit more. And pull your hips backwards and let that ball go right out to your fingertips. Let that ball keep rolling in towards your fingertips. Keep pulling the clitoris forward. Keep pulling the shaft forward. Stay here. Breathe. And come off the ball. And stand. And feel the two sides. Take some breaths. See how you're standing more solid in your feet. You don't even have to think about your feet. So your pelvic floor just stabilized your feet. Think about now as you inhale, your whole posture's lifted up. You don't have to think about it. You don't have to try. Because when you turn on your pelvic floor muscles, your whole body corrects. Your torso goes, oh yeah, so much better up. Try to collapse down right now. Can't really collapse your body down. Can't collapse into your feet. You can't collapse down into your pelvis because you just turned on some of the vital muscles that are meant to support your entire pelvis, your entire body upward, and your feet into the floor. So I hope this was educational, informational. I hope you just learned a whole lot about the importance of getting these pelvic floor muscles active and alive so that your whole body stays more upright, your posture stays better, your whole active internal organs start to work and stay lifted. You stay solid on your feet. So I know a lot of people have been asking and waiting for this, so here we are, and hope you enjoyed it.